These are my sons Madden and Hudson, and today we are going to show you some prehab and rehab exercises from typical injuries you find in American tackle football. So Hudson's going to show us some exercises for the ACL tear, which is the anterior cruciate ligament that runs behind the patella in the front of the front of the leg. So we're going to jump on the bench here. He's going to take his shoe off. He's going to sit on a flat surface. This can be performed on the floor or a training table, and we're going to use a weight bench and support the back with the wall of our home. So Hudson is going to attempt to gain full range of motion in his injured knee. By doing this, he's going to bend his knee and he's going to pull his heel towards his buttocks. He has the towel here to help support that. What it'll do is control the speed of movement. So as he releases back out, if he's not strong enough to control that speed, the towel helps to slow that down. He should gain about 10 to 15 degrees of the range of motion each week as he progresses. As he progresses here, so finish on the way out, As he progresses, we're going to eliminate the towel, and he's going to do this with just the quadricep and hip flexors. So same motion, sliding the heel towards the buttocks and back out. And as he feels comfortable with that, he can then further lift the heel off of the bench and then bring the heel in. He's going to want to perform 10 to 15 reps, 2 sets, 2 to 3 times per week. Madden's going to be performing some rehab exercises from a forearm fracture. So he has to strengthen those muscles around the radius and the ulna again. 4 movements. We're going to have wrist flexion, which is just a forearm curl, just a wrist curl. So he's going to bring his fingertips to his forearm, and he's going to perform that 10 times. Okay, once he's done that 10 times, he's going to roll his wrist over, and he's going to do wrist flexion. So 10 times, bringing the knuckles to the forearm. Bring that in. Good. Keeping that wrist nice and tight. Controlling that motion, keeping it nice and straight. You can roll it 90 degrees, and he will do wrist adduction, so bringing the thumb to the forearm. So nice and straight up, kind of like you're hammering. Good. And lastly, we would have wrist abduction, where he reaches out, taking his pinky to the forearm. So they do that 10 to 15 times. He'll do those 10 to 15 times, 2 to 3 sets, and he can do that 2 to 3 times per week. As his strength progresses here, we can go back to the original movement of wrist flexion. We're using a real light weight for him to start. Originally we started with a tight wrist, and he just did a short motion here. But what we want to do as we get stronger is allow the weight to roll the wrist open to the fingertips, and once it gets there, we roll it back in and then finish at the top. Back out and back up. Once we get strong there, we can change out the weight and try it with heavier weight as we get stronger. Rolling out and rolling up. Perfect. For this, we're going to do some prehab exercising. It's more like training. There's no real way to eliminate concussions, but understanding the proper technique and form of tackling is going to help the athlete to prevent as much as they possibly can the concussion. So the progression of tackling is buzzing our feet. So as the runner as the ball runner, ball carrier, which is the tacklee, is in this direction, the tackler is going to be away from him. As he runs towards him, he's going to slow his feet down. So you're going to what they call buzz your feet. So there you go, perfect. Okay, and you're going to be in position for our next step. So our first step is buzzing the feet. That controls our weight, it controls our speed, so that we're not throwing everything into him uncontrolled. Okay, so step one is buzzing the feet. Step two is an arm swing. So arm swing goes posterior to anterior, and that's the explosion part, the explosion where you tackle through. Okay, step three is going to get a low center of mass. So we're going to sit our butts down a little bit. Okay, step four is getting our head across the front of the ball carrier. Okay, so your head is going to be angled this way. Okay, we don't want to go behind him, we want to be in front of him. Step five, we want to make contact with the front of our shoulder. So we want to make the front of our shoulder, not the top and not the crown of the head, which is what causes the concussions, the jolt to the brain. So we make contact with the front. So you're going to take one more step, wrong foot. You're going to take one more step here. You make heads across, contact with the shoulder. Arms have come through and you're wrapping. And then step six is driving through and keeping that neck elongated. So you might have to get a second angle around here. So let's do this one more time. You're standing. You've come up. You've buzzed your feet. Step one. Okay, you get closer. Okay, step two, you've got your hands rear. All right, three, we've dropped our center of mass. Four, we've got our head across. Step five, we're going to make contact with our shoulder. Okay, front of our shoulder. So take that step. Good. And that's where this arm swing comes in. There. And step six, you're driving through. Keep your head and neck straight. And you can do this multiple times. There's no sets or reps. You need to practice this every single time you tackle. Warming up beforehand, it needs to be done every single time.